And we are live. Good evening, wonderful people. My name is Amma, and everyone who's been following my page knows who I am, but I'd like to welcome any newcomers who are watching or those that will be watching the replay. I have an awesome guest for you tonight. There are supposed to be 3 guests, all mothers like myself, so busy. We've had a few issues, but we're going to make it a fabulous show. I'm a civil servant, is my full-time profession. I'm also a mother to a wonderful young man who also has a diagnosis of autism, so I'm a carer. I've been in my current position for 10 years, and I now run my own digital business. I've got a wonderful mum who just makes me feel very small in terms of motherhood, because she's got six amazing children. And every time I just think of this awesome lady, I think to myself, how does she do it? Because it was a challenge for me with just having one. So I am going to allow her to introduce herself. She's another digital business partner. And this is one of the fabulous things about having a digital business. You get to meet amazing and wonderful people. Sister Vera, introduce yourself, please.
Thank you, Sister Amma, for the wonderful opportunity. My name is Vera Ugbomo. I am originally from Nigeria. I currently reside in Ireland with my husband and 6 children. I am a healthcare assistant. I've been working in the healthcare sectors for over 8 years now. And I currently work in a disability facility. I've been working here since nearly 8 years, but on this particular unit, about 7.5 years. And it has been a great pleasure, to be able to support people with special, needs, and to be able to have impact in their, to be able to have impact in their lives. In fact, I would say a part of my life was actually, kind of made up with the people that I support. And that actually, drove me to go further to study. I was, working at a particular point, and I injured my back. And with the kind of injury that I had, would have, led me, to stop working. But due to the fact that I love the people that I support, I just wanted to still be part of their lives. So what I did was, I didn't want to leave the healthcare sector. And I didn't want to impact my life or my health too much, So I said, instead of going further to study nursing, maybe disability nursing, I changed my mind, to study, a psychology. So I'm currently a student as well as working full time. But by the special grace of God, in the coming week, I will be, cutting down on my hours. So from work, I currently manage my digital business from home. Mm-hmm. So that's it for now, sister.
No, that is just such an awesome introduction, and I can tell that you love your job, because when you talk about it, you're just beaming and the smile. And I was thinking to myself, it's just such a small world, because my son also, he has special needs, but I also delved a bit into psychology as well, because of my son. So I was just thinking, look at that, so much in common. But people are probably, wondering, what are these 2 ladies here doing? Well, this is Let's Talk Digital. Drop a comment in there. Let us know where you're watching from. And we're mothers, we're busy, we have careers, we're studying, and also we are digital business owners. And we just want to spread the news about how awesome the digital world is out there. I mean, for me, my biggest why and reason why I decided to even start a business is because of my son. Even though he's maturing, he's coming to the end of his teens, or he's just turned, 20, he still needs that support. And what I'm finding is that in the current climate that we're in, it's just constant work, 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 and I never have time for him. When I was much younger, it may have worked, but it's not working now. And I'm finding that my employees are encroaching on my personal life. One of the things that I always go back to is when the pandemic initially started, you know, when COVID hit and we had that lockdown, everybody had to stay inside. You couldn't converse with friends or family, and anyone who's a carer or has anybody or knows anyone with a disability, I think that they actually felt it more. So obviously my son didn't have that support, but one of the things that I noticed was that the online world, the online space was always available to him. It was never closed, you know, nothing stopped it. There was nothing such as lockdown, and it was just always, always, always there. So that's what piqued my interest to start with. And then I was introduced to the digital business, but, you know, with all things online, you're a bit skeptical. But once I started to see how it was progressing and the fact that it was always open 24/7, I could do it anywhere, the flexibility of it, you know, I looked into it. And that's why I'm here now doing my digital business. What about you, sis? What was your why for starting your business?
My why was actually, I've always been there, but I ignored it. One of the reasons was fear. I was scared. How will I manage if I think of my why? My why was my children. Like I said, I live here with my husband alone with 6 children, and then we've been working. Sometimes it has to work, you know, part-time just to, you know, be at home more, because like I actually didn't want to cut down on my hours at the time. So he volunteered, you know, to cut down on his hours and, you know, at some point, you know, to stay at home full time. But then I noticed that I was actually missing a lot, you know, in the lives of the children.
Sure, yeah.
I wanted more time, but that would mean me cutting down on my hours. But I wasn't too, you know, I wasn't too sure if we were going to get, you know, my husband's job back, because his job wasn't that as secure as mine. So I was scared, you know, to be down, you know, with finances. Imagine having 6 children and not being able to, you know, to provide for them.
Sure,
yeah. So that's one of my whys. No, he just came out from bed. Yeah. Yeah. Don't worry, you can stay, but be quiet, okay? Yeah, don't worry.
But this just shows how fabulous the digital space is, and being your own boss. I mean, if you're at work, you couldn't have your children that, you know, there.
No, we can't.
It's just, it's wonderful.
So, like I said, that was it. But the thing is, that was my primary why, because I wanted more time for, you know, to be with my children.
Yeah.
But like I said, I was so scared, you know, of losing, you know, the financial aspect of it, of losing, you know, income in order to provide for them. So another thing was, you know, we had just sometimes 1.5, you know, income stream coming in, and it wasn't sufficient for us as a family of 8. So it was always very stressful.
I can imagine.
But in order, you know, sometimes to be able to you know, to take care of that aspect, I had to pick extra shifts outside my already tight schedule. So that again, you know, put me at a very tight corner, you know, of being away from the children. Yeah. So I ended up, you know, missing so much. Even though I lived under the same roof with them, they're missing so much, you know, in their lives. So it got to a point when I had that injury. I think that was the thing that actually, you know, there's one thing. I'm a Christian, and I believe in, you know, certain things happen in our lives, things that we might look, you know, see as, you know, unfortunate things, you know, might happen in our lives, and it could just be a lesson for us to learn from.
Yeah.
It could just be something for us, you know, to pick out from. So when I had that injury, I felt that was it, because My doctor told me it was a degenerative, condition. In fact, the diagnosis I got was very scary.
Oh,
I don't want to be
wow.
mentioning it here. So I said to myself, it is either that I was actually done with my kids. I couldn't even hold my kids on most of the occasion times when I. No, 1 minute, madam, please. No, you have to hold on, mommy's here. Okay?
Oh, sis, I've been there.
Sorry about that.
This
No.
young, no.
I'm just waiting for my husband to come back so that he would, take him back to bed.
Yeah,
So,
I'm sorry. I was here.
like I said, I was in a very dire, situation. But thanks to God, when I found this digital business, I knew it was something from me, because initially I had something. I did try digital business, but it was actually very good. But it was very different from our own community.
Okay.
We didn't have the community support at all. Throughout the months that I stayed on that business, I never knew who my mentor was. So I was just on my own trying to do stuff. So and then, in fact, I don't want to be comparing, because of course it's not fair to do that. But the truth is, when I found this, I looked into it, I researched it.
Yes.
I stayed on the fence for 2 good years or more.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
Before I became a distributor.
A lot of people have been fence sitters, because I wasn't a fence sitter, but I watched the webinar over and over. 1 second, Sister Vera. Our Sister Ramath has joined us from Ireland. Hi, Sister.
Hello,
welcome.
Sister Ramath. Nice to meet you.
Hello, how are you? I'm very sorry. I was here since, but I don't know what happened with the link.
No,
I'm
the
sorry.
fact that you're here is a blessing in itself. I will allow you to introduce yourself in just 1 minute. Sister Vera was just sharing her whys as to starting her digital business. But there's a lot of people in the business who have started off as fence sitters, and that's just understandable, because you hear about scams, you're a bit skeptical, so it's all understandable. But that's also the beauty of this business, is you get the opportunity where there's no pushing, there's no selling, and it's a case of you make that decision, you do your due diligence. It's entirely up to you. So you talking about sitting on the fence, that's people do that all the time.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm very sorry again. I'm Rahma. I'm a mom of 5 amazing children. I'm originally from Benin Republic, and I'm based here in Ireland with my family. For the question you asked, is this business normal? Is there are training there, the mentor they are there, and the coach, and the training is based like step by step. You have your time, you are doing it on your own, but with the support of the community, that one is wonderful, because it's not all the business have that potential. So we are blessed with this business. And for those who still thinking, is it real? Yeah, we are a real person. I'm here with my family. If it's not real, I can't show my face. So it's normal to be skeptical, but it's okay to see as well, to check.
Sorry, I think there's an echo coming from somebody's mic. I don't know.
My?
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah, it may be yours.
You open 2 devices. Yeah. So like I was saying, so it's normal, but you have to check, so that you it's not like somebody told you to go and do it. You can see, you can check before. And this business offer that that space for you. You know, from beginning, you don't need to pay anything. You just come to check what is inside the package the business have for us, you know. And then when you discover is the type of the business you are looking for, you know, you can just go ahead, you know, by paying your $149, and then you start your journey like that. But you are not doing it alone, you know.
Yeah,
It's very good. And the flexibility as well, you know, you can go anywhere with your business is wonderful. It's not all the business have that one. So we can keep saying that one so that they can know this business is not like all the business are on, you know.
That's
Thank you.
yeah, that's exactly that. You know, especially the flexibility for us mothers. You know, you have 5 children, so you also have your
Exactly.
hands full, and sometimes it's all about family. And then with what Vera was also talking about, with finances being another issue, and especially now in this world that we're living in, you know, the cost of living is just skyrocketing. And what I love about this business is there's no costly inventory. You know, you're not hiring a building. Marcel's here. I'm just going to add her. Hi, sis. There's still an echo.
On my end?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Maybe try the volume. Yeah, you're getting some kind of playback. Try to come out and check that you don't have any other devices logged into this as well. You know, the flexibility, like you said, especially being mothers. I mean, one of the things is that all of your children are relatively young, so you need to have that flexibility. My son is slightly older, but he still has a mindset of someone that's very young. And just watching your wonderful son there, you know, listening to the stories that you have with your children, I actually regret I had to miss a lot of that with him, because it was always work. And whilst I was doing the work, I was thinking to myself, as time goes on, you know, there'll be something for me and my son, and I can relax and spend more time. But what I was finding is that they want more from you. And then I realized that if I go, my employer is not going to be there for my son. And that's another thing that I actually love about this business, the fact that you can actually build a legacy, leave a legacy for your children. It's just awesome. I just want to say hi to our sis in Italy, Sister Amalatu, who's watching us. You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Marcel is back. Let's see if we can add her.
Is he okay now?
Yeah, I think now it's okay.
Sister Marcel, do you have your speaker on?
No. Nothing's on.
Okay.
Nothing is on. I don't know what's going on. Is this
You
an
are so
echo?
sure?
No, it's coming from your end, because there's an echo when you come in.
Okay, let me get out again. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. You know, so, this shows everyone that we are live, it's not recorded, and the show must go on. I mean, one of the things that viewers watching will probably be thinking about is, since joining the business, what has been the benefits? What benefits have you found? I will let you speak first, Vera.
Thank you very much, sis. One of them is the flexibility of the job of the business, and as you can see, I am actually at my mommy's duty, and I'm here, you know, still doing my business. I can bring this business anywhere I want. I am, you know. I could be on the bus, you know, still have my business with me. As far as I have my phone and my internet connection. I could be running my business from a different country. I could be, you know, I could travel home, you know, for a holiday or something, and my business still goes on.
Yeah.
So there is no stop to, there is no limit to it. So it's very, very flexible. Another thing that it has actually given me also is the time, the time freedom, in the sense that with this business, I can do whatever I want to do. Like I told you earlier on when we were discussing, sister, that I by the special grace of God, I've actually cut down on my hours. This is a mom who used to work. I used to work 50 hours on my long week.
Oh,
Sorry,
wow.
55 hours on my long week. And on my
Wow.
short week, I'll work, to make about 78 hours in total
Wow.
for the fortnight. And then sometimes I will pick up extra hours. I'll pick up extra shifts just to, supplement the family's income. But right now, I'm okay to even work, sorry, Maury.
How is it now?
I'm even okay to work, reduced hours, Oh, sorry, this is a distraction. I was. No more. You can't do that. Sorry.
Whilst
Or if you
you're
try this
tending to
again,
your
I'm sending
young
you
man,
okay.
Ramath, what have you found as what are the benefits for you since you started your business?
For me, what I earn a lot of things, but I'll just major some. I'll naming some, like I discover myself, like the skill I have, and the good thing, we use the computer, we use our phone, we don't really know the how it work. We just take our call and message finish, but there's a lot we can still do with our device we don't know. So I discovered those as well. And from computer side also, IT, there are a lot, and one thing I still discover, like I can talk on the camera, in front of the camera. Before, I'm a shy person. I'm not like comfortable to speak in front of the person. But right now, forget about that. So I know what I'm doing. So it's like wonderful for me, So Alhamdulillah, I love that. Yeah, thank you.
That's wonderful. Like you said, learning, developing yourself. It also gives you that confidence. You're right. There's some awesome points that you've raised. I'm just going to bring in Marcel and let her introduce herself. Hi, Marcel. How are you?
I'm okay. I hope there's no more echo, right?
When
No.
you start talking, yes, when I start talking, but when you start talking, I don't know. But let's go and let's see. Introduce yourself to everyone. Let them know who you are.
Hi, viewers. My name is Marcel. I'm a personal support worker. I'm a mother of 4, and I'm proud to be a digital business owner.
That is awesome. I mean, why did you decide to start a digital business, and what have you found are the benefits?
Why did I decide to join a digital business? There's a lot, you know, and they think the digital business. Why I join is at least I'm looking for something flexible, something I can do on my own time, and the thing is, I'm a personal support worker. We don't have pension. When you're working and you'll be worrying, what about if something happened? True, we have a government assistance, but it's not enough. At least if I own my own business, in case of anything, I don't have to rely on someone. you know. So that's why I'm be trying a lot, really hard to look for something good until I find this business, and I'm enjoying it, you know. Yes.
Oh, that is I think if I mute you, there's no echo. Yeah, that's just awesome, awesome. So if anyone who's watching, you know, mums out there watching and they're thinking or they're interested, I mean, what can they do to actually find out more? Would you like to impart, Vera, on what they could do to find out more?
Yeah, one of the things that the steps that they have to take first is to watch the free webinar. And you can have access to the free webinar through any of the, you know, the website that you see, you know, on the screen. Just take your time. Although we might say 90 minutes is too long, you know, but the truth is, if you look at it, you're building your future, you're building your life, you know, with that. And you know, you can actually sit down for 90 minutes to watch somebody else, you know, make you laugh or make you do things. But the truth is, you are not enriching yourself. Instead, you are making somebody else, you know, progress in whatever career they are in. So 90 minutes is not too long, and you don't even have to sit down and, you know, at a point you don't have to sit down, you know, to watch it, you know, straight out. But you can actually, you know, spread it out at your own time. That's why I said you have the flexibility, you know, of the business. And then if you're done watching the webinar, which I'm sure we all also did. Well, I always say to people that is the webinar that changed my life. And today I am a living testimony to tell you that it is real. You have real life people, you know, you have people around you. You'll be surprised. You have your next door neighbors, you know, on this business. But the fact is that we as moms, I cannot really keep quiet, you know, to watch other moms suffer. I would like them to also come and see that.
Exactly. Share.
That there is hope, you know, that they shouldn't just be stuck, you know, in whatever, you know, vocation that they found themselves, because, you know, being a mom is a vocation. So there is you know, there is a way, but know that when there is a will, there is always, you know, a way. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. And if somebody has watched the webinar and then they want to take the next step, what must they do, Ramath?
Thank you for the question. If they already watched the webinar, so then they have to pay the $149, and then there will be legit like us. They can see all our family. They can have access to the training and to the coach and to the mentor, so that their business starts from there, you know, so they know what they are doing from there. It's very important to watch the replay or the webinar, as in from start to the end, so that you understand what we are coming out to say all the time. Because this time is very short, we don't have enough time to explain everything, but inside this video, everything is there. But when they are watching it, if they don't understand something, they can reach to us. We are here available 24/7. So you can reach us on our Facebook or on our, everything is there for us. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you. And, you know, some people might be watching thinking, well, $149, why should I pay that? I mean, the webinar is free, so you're not paying for the webinar at all. It's for those who've actually watched the webinar and they decide that they want to they want to actually take the next step, you know, then there is something to pay. But anyone who starts a business, you know, there is cost involved. But the awesome thing about if they do decide to take the next step, they have 30 days in which they can then decide, once they get further information, that it's not for them. If they decide it's not for them, then they can get a refund within 30 days, providing that they haven't decided to have a coaching call. So thank you, Rama, for that information. And we're coming to the end of the chat. I would just like, Marcel, if you could just, you know, anyone who's skeptical out there, what would you say to them? And if you could end the show on a word of wisdom, please.
Mute. Okay. Yes, there's nothing to be scared of, because we all go through that, you know. And it's okay to be scared too, you know what I mean? Because when you know, you'll be thinking there's a lot of business out there, and it's so hard to know which one is the best. But believe me, this our own is the best. Sign up. You have nothing to lose. You have 30 days money back guarantee. There's no, I haven't seen any business out there and you pay $149 to meet the community and you get your money back. There's no way. So you have nothing to lose. Pay the $149, come in and watch the webinar, and come and meet all our beautiful community. You know, so we have nothing to lose and we have nothing to hide. You know, yeah.
Thank you so much. That was just beautifully summarized. So, you know, the webinar itself is free. So it's 90 minutes. If you'd like more information, you can connect with us. Our links are there. If you're out there and you're quite skeptical, we understand that we've been there. We were skeptics. You know, do your due diligence. If you've got any questions that you want to ask us, reach out to us. In terms of, you've seen us here, you've seen some of our children, our beautiful children. I mean, we would not be here trying to do anything that wasn't legitimate by putting on our children. And, you know, another thing that we forgot to actually advise you, that this business, in terms of legitimacy, is you do have to pay taxes. And there's no business out there that's a scam that you'd have to pay taxes to a government agency. But if you'd like more information, just more information in itself, then connect to any one of us here, or, you know, go onto Facebook. You can see us, you can see our lives. And I just want to say to everyone, thank you for watching us. Take care, stay blessed, and stay awesome. Bye for now.
Thanks for having us. Yeah. Bye. Bye.